Now it's time for most innovative game of 2017. And games can be innovative for a number of reasons. It could be its art style. It could be a gameplay element that it tweaks differently from any other game. It could be the concept. It could be the story. It could be like, look at Detroit. Become Human. It's catching all this flack for having domestic violence in it, but that's something a lot of games don't have. So the other thing you should mention, too, is just because you're innovative doesn't make you great.
Right.
You can have an element of your game that does something that's pulled off well, but that doesn't mean the whole game as a whole is something exceptional. So, Matt, what is your runner-up for most innovative?
My runner-up is everything.
I love
the game.
I love
everything.
He just loves everything.
Everything. No, this
my favorite. Here's my favorite B-roll on the TriCaster. I was so glad when you picked this. I'm like, we can pull out the flipping bears again. Yeah.
No, this game, I played this game for an embarrassing amount of time over the course of the whole year. There's just something like weirdly compelling about it because
we laugh every time we watch this B-roll.
And even like this, you zoom in and see molecules, and you go out to the size of the universe, and like you're listening to Alan Watts talk about his bullshit hippie crap the whole time. It's like it's nothing
different.
else. It's different.
Yeah.
And the transition to the various things is super smooth, it's so kind of rough and janky, but they do find a way to make the different objects and creatures move in a way that feels like you're being something else. Even if like walking around as a beetle doesn't feel like walking around as a tree.
Right. That takes a lot of work to get stuff like that right, though.
Just as in real life.
Yeah.
And
I don't know. The last time I walked around as a tree.
It was probably in college.
Yeah.
But it's more of a toy than a game in a lot of ways.
You just kind of fiddle with it. Yeah.
But it's.
This was a PS4 exclusive, right?
No, it was on PC as well.
Did it come out on PC?
Yeah, I have it on both, and it's weirdly fun as long as you don't expect it to have much of a point, I guess.
Yeah.
And like now you're floating, and you're a dust mite. Okay. Hey, dust mite, what's up? And it's like nothing else I expected. It's like nothing else I played all year. And it's like, on one hand, it's kind of stupid, but it's just completely endearing in how silly it gets. And when you think innovation, I thought the ability to be anything from a galaxy to a microbe, pretty good.
Yep, for sure. All right, my runner-up for most innovative is Hidden Agenda. And this is a detective whodunit game for Sony's new PlayLink initiative, which essentially lets people kind of crowdfund decisions in games using their smartphones. So it's a new technology that I was pretty skeptical that I didn't think it was going to work very well. It turns out it works exceptionally well. And it is one of those rare games that encourages real-life interaction with other human beings, which sadly has become something that is now innovative in video games.
And I like to think, like, eventually, at some points, you have to vote for like who's the most trustworthy of all your friends. That can start some shit.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I loved about it, though. It's like it puts you in these weird positions with your friends where you're like, oh my god, like, I don't know if we want. Well, you can see the looks on their faces, and all this stuff is real. Like, these may be actors that they're filming here, but this is what happens when you play this game. Like, it makes people suspicious of each other. I thought the way the game was designed was very clever as far as like getting that sort of uncomfortable interaction among friends in a lot of ways.
Which is good because it covers the fact that the storytelling in the actual game is kind of terrible.
It is, yeah. That's why that's one of the reasons in my runner-up. It's also why before we started going into this category, I laid out that this doesn't mean that these games are great. Yeah. It just means that it's innovative.
This is like, first David Cage game level in a lot of ways.
It is, yeah.
And which is weird because I didn't feel like Until Dawn is the same guys that had made Until Dawn. I didn't feel like Until Dawn had that quality, but this one does sort of have this
I also
kind
feel
of
like
high
this
school
is probably
theater.
A rush job.
A little bit, maybe.
They're like, we have this cool technology, and one thing it does show is that the technology has a future.
Yes.
In more capable hands, or even maybe their hands with more time, it could be something really compelling. So it's getting hard to find innovation in our industry, sadly, Matt. And for me, this was the runner-up for 2017.
Yeah, the actual gimmick part of this game works extremely well.
It does, yeah. but the game itself?
I wouldn't play this solo. Let's
No,
put it that way. Yeah, it's like,
definitely not. Well, I don't think you really could.
I mean, I played it with my girlfriend, and it was just two of us. With just two of us, it was sort
Yeah.
of like meh.
Yeah.
Because if there was like a tie, it's like one of us just had
Yeah.
to, one of us had to, acquiesce, or it would like flip a coin and pick somebody.
Right.
And like, it's more fun. I think it's more fun if you have a large group of people.
For sure. But cool nonetheless. All right, Matt, what is your winner for most innovative for 2017?
The winner is Pyre.
I was a little surprised by this one. But the more I thought
so was
about
I.
it, the more I thought about it, the more I got it.
Yeah, so was I a little bit, where I'm like, it's the game that kept popping into my head when I would think about it. And it's not like nothing's ever been done like the elements of it before, but they've never been put together quite like this.
There's no other game like this.
Yeah,
game.
it's a visual.
There's no doubt about
it's
it.
a visual novel fantasy NBA Jam team management simulator.
It is, yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And there's just nothing else like it, and the presentation is compelling, and it's like two genres that I care probably the least about, which is visual novels and sports. But it put it together in this way that just made me interested and involved, and I played this game way longer than I needed to for like the show or to be able to talk. And I just kept going back to it all year. And on top of that, you've got the art style and the music and the writing's very good. But just there's that thing where again the mark of a lot of innovative games to me is like that idea where I'm like, where I think about, oh, maybe I should play that, and I'm like, well, I could play something else. No, nothing else is that.
Right.
Like you like, if I want whatever that itch is that this game scratches, nothing else touches it because there's nothing else like it.
Yeah.
And I also super appreciate, because I've always felt that these guys made really, Transistor and Bastion, they made really innovative games there too, but I didn't like those two games.
Right.
But I like this one a lot. And so like it was kind of also, I also have a kind of a soft spot for it, I think, because it was great to finally like a Supergiant game.
Yeah. Because everybody else has liked the first two games. And I would fall into the group that liked their first two games more than this one. Mm-hmm. And I'm a sports game guy, but I think my problem was that I just never felt challenged by the game. It felt too easy for too long, and by the time I got to the point where I'd had enough of it, it had finally just started to get challenging. Mm-hmm. And by then I was like, I had burnt out on the concept, and the plot wasn't sucking me in for whatever reason. But you're right, it is undoubtedly one of the most innovative games this year. It's almost like they put a bunch of gameplay styles, like little flashcards into a fishbowl, and then shook it up, and then pulled out 3 of them and said, okay, this is our game. And it was like visual novel, basketball, and RPG. And they're like, how do we do this? They're like, I don't know, we're going to figure it out. It's a very odd game, to say the least. I did enjoy it for as long as I played it. I think I played it for, 15, 16 hours before I kind of burnt out on it. Something like that. Right. But I hear you. But I did like Supergiant's first 2 games. I liked their first better than their second. But I like their second better than their third.
I didn't particularly like either of them, but I like Bastion more.
Yeah, for sure. Transistor was not as good as Bastion.
No, but yeah.
It's so weird.
I mean, if it wasn't so weird, maybe I wouldn't like it as much. But it's just like I just never knew where this thing was going.
But again, they don't have to be great games to be the most innovative.
No.
So, and it's not. I'm not saying the game's not great, but
and I appreciate an innovative game that manages to take existing concepts and turn them into something new, which is sometimes harder than coming up with a totally new thing, because you have to make these things that people are familiar with. You have to be able to allow them to recontextualize them in a sense that sometimes people are resistant to do. Like it can be harder to get someone to see a well-worn thing in a new light because they're used to doing it a certain way. Fighting games have that problem a lot.
Yeah.
And there's some fighting game to this too.
Yeah, there is. You're right, absolutely.
I think the only real thing I would have liked to have seen is a more robust multiplayer angle to it.
Yeah, online multiplayer.
Yeah.
Would have been huge. To me, that was a huge miss with this game. I don't know how you create a sports game and don't include online multiplayer.
I didn't super miss it, but at the same time, I feel like it would have been maybe a more talked about game if it was still going in that regard.
To my problem with the game, though, which was I didn't feel like it was hard enough, and I was just destroying the AI in every match until 15 or 16 hours in. I could have gone online and got schooled and been shown, oh no, Shane, you don't know how to play this game yet. That would have reinvigorated me to even go back to the single player and get better at it. So to me, I think it was a huge miss and a huge loss. you really just can't release a sport, and this is a sports game, let's be honest. You really can't release a sports game in 2017 without online multiplayer. You just can't. There's really no reason for it to not have it, and yeah, I thought that was a huge disappointment for me with this game. But still, it's a good game. I did enjoy my time with it. I played it for 16 hours. That's a long time. Let's see. My winner for most innovative of 2017 is, and everyone's going to go, what the hell is he talking about? Echo. So I don't know if you guys remember or not, we have actually, this game has been our trailer of the week on Game Face before. Echo is a stealth action game where essentially you clone yourself. Your own character gets cloned, and you have to kind of outwit yourself. And the AI follows what you do and then will mimic it. So essentially what you're doing when you're playing the game is you're teaching the computer how to do things, like open a door or pick up a gun or fire a gun. But you have to be careful what you're doing, because if you teach the computer too much, the computer can kill you, essentially. So it's this crazy, like, mind screw that you go through when you play this game. And I will say this. The more I played it, the more I did kind of figure out the quirks of the AI, so that you could kind of jimmy the game a little bit so that it couldn't learn, like, your habits that would be dangerous to you, so to speak. But before you figure out kind of like a way to screw the game over, it is one of the most interesting games that I've played in the last couple years. This, I think, is a concept that will be duplicated. I think you will see another developer, probably with a lot more resources, a lot more money, a lot more marketing, and a lot more of a budget.
I keep forgetting this game exists.
Take the concepts that were kind of first explored in this game and turn them into something really amazing. But I still feel like you need to reward the game that tries it first, and the one who is and the developers who are brave and go out on a limb the first time. So to me, easily the most innovative, at least gameplay-wise. And I think that's, if you look back across these awards, one thing you'll see with me is that when it comes time to pick a game and the games are kind of close, I tend to pick the game that does something with the actual gameplay in that category, and I give it a little bit of a bump. And that's why this was awarded most innovative over Hidden Agenda, was because it was something that's actually tactile and is in your hands. And so for me, most innovative game this year was Echo. But again, innovation, hard to come by these days.
Yeah.
It's not falling off trees like it used to, so you got to dig. I had to really think hard about that category, to be honest with you. It's probably the one I had to go back and kind of research the most before I could find my picks.